Before yesterday's schema thing, haven't completed yet.
Yeah,
And
we'll.
did you send the video
No,
of
yesterday
creating?
actually somehow my system got crashed. Actually, I didn't able to capture the video as well. Okay, so today, anyways, we are going to do the same exercise, right? So I'll share the video.
Mhm. Mhm. And what about the video visual?
Yeah,
The,
actually, yesterday I was a bit occupied actually with a lot of things, so I didn't able to
yeah,
do it. So I'll do that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just I want to remind you because
yeah,
I
I remember things. Yeah, and
haven't gone through any videos. I'll be seeing the videos on Saturday or Friday night
yeah,
or Sunday.
sure, sure.
Take your time. So please do that work before Friday. So please
Yeah,
and try. If
yeah.
you can.
I'll do that. I'll do that. No worries. Okay.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Your screen is not yet shared.
Yeah. 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So we'll discuss few more things before going to schema actually. So, and yesterday Arshad was asking something about the garbage collector. This one, right, Arshad?
Yeah, it was me,
Uh,
Afsar.
yeah.
Okay.
Afsar asking that, not me.
Okay. So if you can go to the preferences here, sir. Okay, Windows preferences. Okay,
Okay.
and here try to go to type heap. Okay, so after typing the heap, okay, so you can see this option, show heap status.
Okay.
Okay, so by default it was unchecked. Okay, so you don't see anything here. Okay, so again go to the preferences and here, okay, show heap status. Select the checkbox, okay, and apply it, and okay, so that it will appear here. Okay, you can click this so that it will remove any unused space, unused memory.
Okay, got it.
Okay, yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so let me quickly create a sample project. So in BW5.x, actually, we have a couple of process startup, on startup and on shutdown, right?
Like, are you referring to the receive and reply?
Not receive and reply. So on startup and on shutdown activities.
Yes, we have. I know.
So on startup is like it is going to start your execute your process definition when we deploy and run your application. And we have on startup on shutdown activity, okay, which is going to execute your process definition during the engine shutdown. Okay, let me show you. So general here we can see on startup. Okay, so this is going to execute only once, okay, when we start our engine, when we deploy and when we run our application. Okay, so go and start. So without having any event like having a queue receiver or something like that. Okay. Okay, start it. So it is going to execute when we start the application. Okay, here we can we can initialize any parameters, any files, or any shared variables, kind of thing. Okay, so and similar lines. Okay, in BW6 we don't have this kind of activities as such here. Okay, if you can see under general activities, okay, you don't find anything like on startup or on shadow. Okay, so here, so whenever we create a project, okay, so a module descriptor also is going to create it for you. So here, go to the overview under module descriptors. Okay, here we can see uh, option called activator process. Okay, so click this one and it will create a process definition for you. Okay, and you can keep this name as it is, something like activator. By default the name is activator, otherwise you can change it to something else. Okay, so I'm keeping it activator and finish it. Okay, so immediately after doing that, okay, you can see a process definition is creating for you under same package with the name activator, and it contains two blocks. One is on startup and one is on shutdown. Okay, so if you write any logic under on startup block, okay, it is going to execute during the engine startup, and if you write anything under on shutdown block, okay, it is going to execute on engine shutdown. Okay guys, so let's quickly test this scenario. So let me go and write something in, during the on startup. This is on startup, and this is on shutdown. This is engine shutdown. Okay, great. And one more thing here to remember is on shutdown is not going to work in designer mode. Okay, it is going to only work when we deploy the application. Okay, so that is a kind of a problem we have in Studio. Okay, and let me create a simple process here as well. So let's quickly go and run it. So if you can see here, a log entry is writing on startup, right guys? The same thing we have written in the on startup block here. You can see here, this is what we have written, right? Engine startup, right? So in the logs we can see that engine startup. Okay, this is the one which return that particular log entry. Okay, so that means whatever logic you have included in the on startup block here, okay, it is going to execute at the engine startup. Okay, and whatever logic you have written in the on shutdown block here is it is going to execute during the engine shutdown. Okay, again, and we can't test this engine shutdown stuff from TIPCO Studio, actually Business Studio. It is going to only work when we deploy the stuff actually. Okay, yeah. So that is the problem we have with TIPCO Studio. This is a known issue. Okay, so this is how on startup and on shutdown are going to work. Okay, is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And one more thing actually. Okay, so far we have seen while creating a sub process. Okay, so I'm just trying to create a sub process here. So right clicking on the package here, new BW6 processes. Okay, so if you can see here, so far we have only seen empty process and service sub process, right? And we have other option actually. This was the latest addition in 632 actually. Okay, somehow in our previous classes it was not reflecting. Okay, so yesterday I have corrected it, now it is reflecting. Okay, so in, if you can remember correctly, okay, so in your previous classes we can only able to see empty process and sub process. We have not seen this direct sub process, right guys? So direct subprocess. What is a direct subprocess? So in BW5.x, okay, we can simply create a process and we can call it, right? Instead of doing a web service kind of thing, right? So the same applies here as well with direct subprocess. We can simply create a subprocess and we can call it without having any references or without using any invoke activity. Okay. So let's go and see how it works. So I'm selecting a direct subprocess now. And make it SP1. So it will create a subprocess for me. Okay, empty subprocess. So which is almost similar to your plain BW5.x process, right? So whenever we add a process definition, okay, it only contains start and end activity, and this is also contains the start and end activity. Okay, but here the different thing is whenever we create a output editor here, okay, whenever we create elements in the editor here, okay, for start activity, okay, we definitely need to give a schema here. Okay, we can't simply add the element here. We first need to create a schema and refer the schema here, otherwise we can create the schema directly from here. Okay, let's
Create or import schema, right?
yeah, yeah, create or import schema. Okay, so let me, so here by default it don't contain any elements here. Okay, so let's go and define some elements. Okay, as of now my project doesn't contain any schemas here. Okay, so for that let me go and create a new schema. Here we have an option, create a new schema. So create a new schema and make it schema underscore start. Okay, so by default it will create some 3 elements. Okay, so I don't require them, so delete them all first. Okay, so after deleting them, select here and first create this complex node. Okay, so select the complex node. You can name it something else. By default it is element, so I'm naming it something like root. So under root, okay, I can define simple elements by selecting this thing. So I'm defining parameter a of string. Okay, if you want to change the data type, you can change the data type. Okay, if you want to change it to something a repetitive element, you can select unbound here. Okay, so I am keeping it 0 and 1 means optional element. Okay, and I am again adding another element. Let me b. So I am defining this kind of a schema. Now as you can see, start activity contains two input parameters, and similar lines you can write whatever logic you want here in between start and end. So before that, let's add a simple log activity, write to file activity. Okay, so simply write the data whatever you have received into the text file. Okay, so write the content into this file. So I am going to use render XML function. Yes. Otherwise, I'm doing something like this. I'm trying to write the data into this file, and in on similar lines, okay, to send back any response as part of your process execution, okay, we need to define some elements in the input iter of end activity. Okay, so you need to follow the same structure. Okay, so either you can use an already existing schema, otherwise you can create a new schema. So let me go and create a new schema here. So I'm just giving subprocess executed. Okay, so that is the activity I have mapped. Okay, so now go to your process definition. Okay, so here remove this. Otherwise, keep it as it is. Okay. And so go to general activities. Under general activities, we have an activity called call process. So using this call process activity, okay, we can invoke any subprocess. Okay, so go to your general, and here we can browse and give the subprocess which we have just defined. So I'm giving that subprocess, and this is the span option. We are very much familiar with span option, right? In BW5.x also we have the same span option. So let me give something like BW6. Okay, so that's it actually. So with this, it is going to execute this particular process definition. Now let's go and use log activity. So from call process output, we can see some element out, some response coming out, right? So I'm just logging the same response in the log, right? Log activity. So let's go and run it. Yes, you can see here my timer has started and it has invoked the subprocess. Double click it, and this is how it invoked it. And after that, okay, okay, see here. So in my log entry, I have written subprocess executed. Okay, that is what the string I am receiving from the subprocess call, right? So that is what I am writing into the log file. Okay, so let's go and check your file. Okay, so it got modified and it's something like typical underscore BW6. Okay, that is what we have written into this particular file using the subprocess. Okay, so this is how your direct subprocess is going to work. Okay, is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, so if you can see here, we have three processes created, three jobs are created. Okay, one is for your activator, like this is going to started during the engine startup, and one is started with the other process definition started is your timer process, and from timer process we have invoked the subprocess sp1. Okay, that has invoked here. Okay, so the three process definitions got invoked here. Okay. Okay, perfect. So total we have three types of processes here, process definitions here. One is empty process, where we can add any process starters and work, and one is direct subprocess, okay, which is nothing but your subprocess calls used in your BW5.x, and this is service subprocess, which is an additional thing that is coming as part of your BW6, okay, where the process call is nothing but like a web service invocation. Okay, using this we can do that. So we have three types of processes here. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's go and implement yesterday's stuff. Where are we? Okay, let's go and implement this
So you just have to, okay, that workspace is not, workspace was giving issues, so you have to create everything again, right?
scenario. Yeah, I have removed it completely and I have created it a new workspace actually. Because
Okay.
previously I have created that workspace using 6.3 version, actually 6303 630, sorry,
Oh,
630
oh,
version. Okay, but
okay.
even after installing the 632 it is not reflecting correctly, so that is giving the problem.
Okay, got it.
So let's go and build. Let me remove this. So I'm creating a new project. To the name loan loan processing. And now go and import the schemas which are required for your application, your project. So right click on schema, import, and from general select the file system. Next, so go to the location where you have the schemas defined. So this is where I have the schemas defined. Select that folder, and from that folder simply import the two schemas which are required for you by selecting the checkboxes here. Okay, so this is how your customer schema looks. Okay, so it has ID, name, mobile number, PAN number, postcode, status, email, category, address line 1 and address line 2. These are simple elements. Under that I have a complex node called customer. Customer node contains, as you can see here, customer is going to refer all the simple elements which we have defined. Okay, this is the complex node, and the customer is again a complex node which is going to refer the customer's complex node. Okay, and it is going to be a repetitive node. You can see here the star symbol. That means it contains many customers under customers node. Okay guys, this is how I have defined the schema. And after that we have a simple loan XSD which contains a loan type, a loan amount, and we have a flag specifying whether it is a existing customer or not. And after that we have a loan complex node which contains this customer schema. Okay, which is going to refer this schema here, this schema, and it contains the three simple elements which we have defined. Okay, so this is my loan XSD. Okay, so let me go and rename this process. So I am renaming it to process to loan processing. So I'm just expanding this canvas, okay, where we can create our activities. So as per this, okay, so we are going to receive a loan request XML in the form of an file. Okay, so for that we need to create our process definition which is going to kickstart upon receiving that particular loan request XML. Right? For that we need to use a file poller activity. So file poller. Change it. I can change the name of it. Loan request. Okay, and again as per this, okay, so this is where my loan request is XML is going to available. Okay, and this is the file name. Okay, so just go and give the same thing. So I'm specifying that particular file in the file poller file name so that it is going to poll for that file. Okay, and under advanced, okay, it is going to poll for every 5 seconds under advanced tab. Okay, so I am unchecking modify and delete events so that it can only poll for create events. That means whenever there is a file got created with that particular file name, it is going to execute. Okay, so after that, so On receiving that, we need to parse that incoming XML so that we can have the XML structure of that particular loan request so that we can apply our rules, right? So to parse that incoming XML, okay, we need to use XML activities parse XML. And here one more thing. So select this activity and just go to this particular close to this particular previous activity so that it automatically creates the transition, if you can see, right? So you don't need to create the transition, it automatically creates the transition. Are you getting that? So you don't need to create the transition, it automatically creates the transition if we go to closer to that particular activity. Hello?
Yes, got it. Yes.
Right, so unlike in BW5.x where we need to create the transitions manually, right? So here BW6 itself creates a transition, we don't need to create the transition. Okay, so the method is select the activity which you want to add and go to the close a bit closer to that particular previous activity to which you want to create a transition and place that activity so that it will create the transition for you. Okay, this is like loan XML, and here under output editor go and specify the schema, loan schema, and the input go and specify the content you have received from file polar activity. So after that we have two scenarios. If it is an existing customer, we need to execute this kind of logic. If it is a new customer, we need to execute this kind of logic. Okay, so let's handle for existing customer first. Okay, so if it is an existing customer, we need to check whether that file is available with us or not. Okay, the customer file is available with us or not. Okay, so as per this is where we are maintaining the customer files, right? So we need to go and check whether this particular file contains the required file, the required customer file or not. Okay, so we just need to check that. So to check that, okay, I'll go and use list file activity. So under file, we have an activity called list file. Okay, so which is going to take a directory name as input and give the list of files available in that particular directory. Right, guys? So are you aware of this particular activity? Have you ever worked?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. List customer. So you can directly specify the folder name here. Otherwise, you can go to input tab and here you can specify that. So here all the files are going to be XML files, right? Where is it? So I'm just giving a wildcard symbol saying that star.xml so that it will give the list of XML files available in that particular directory. Okay, guys. I have simply given that. The output of it is going to be like this. Okay, so file info is going to be a repetitive node. Okay, this is going to be generated for each and every file available in that particular directory, and this contains the file information: file full name, file name, location, configured file name, type, read protected, write protected, size, and last password. Okay, these are the, this is something like something similar to your BW5.x. We have same set of output coming from your list file activity. So after that, we need to check whether the required file means customer name underscore mobile number dot xml. If that file is available or not. Okay, we need to check in this particular list of files. Okay, so we need to check that thing. If the file is available, okay, just do this thing. If the file is not available, okay, if the customer details file is not available, do nothing and just move the loan request XML to archive location. Okay, so we'll just implement this logic. General activity. General, I'm just having a log activity, log right log activity here. Now customer. I'm just writing a little log entry here. Okay, if the file is available, okay, so I need to send out if the file is available. Okay, so if the file is available, I need to read that file and pass that, right? So if the file is available, I need to use a read file activity. Okay, so from here, so here I am creating two transitions. So if the file is available, we need to execute this read file activity, right? So read customer. Okay, so here I need to check the condition. Okay, so click on the transition like you do in BW5.x, and here condition type by default it is success, and now I'm selecting success with condition, and here we can add the expression. So in the expression I can write a logic, simple logic to check whether that file is available or not. Okay, so from list files, okay, so I use an exist function, exist of file info, where the filter is going to be file name is equal to cat So I'm just passing a filter. Oops, what happened? Customer name, comma, mobile number, comma, store.xml. So I'm using this thing, okay, so let me copy this thing. So I'll explain the logic, okay, give me a second, first let me build the formula. So exist of file info, where name is equal to, okay, is correct, right? Why it is still something. So, yes, did you be able to understand this logic, whatever I have written here? Is that clear, what I am doing here? Arshad,
You are putting a condition saying that if customer exists, check by file name
yeah,
customer
yeah,
and
correct.
customer name and mobile number.
Correct.
You are
So,
giving these three.
so because I'm using this customer name and mobile number because my file name, okay, customer file name is going to contain something like this. Where is it? So customer name underscore mobile number, right? So because of that, I'm using that concat function to concat customer name and mobile number to check whether the list of files contains this customer or not.
Okay.
Okay. So if that list of files contains that customer, go and read that customer file. Okay, in the using read file activity. Okay, so this is where my customer files are going to be available, right? So in the read file again, use concat function, comma. So I'm just trying to read the same file. Okay, the customer file. Okay, this condition. Okay, this is going to be success with no matching condition. Okay, and just name it here. Customer found, and you can change the name color of it. And this is okay. So this is how we can define the conditions here. Okay.
Okay.
So after that, after reading that, we need to pass the customer XML, okay, to know its category, to know the category of the customer. Okay, based on that, I can decide what is the eligibility amount for that particular customer. Right. So for that, I can use again pass XML. Using pass customer. So here, this time I am going to use customer schema. So I'm using a customer schema from read customer and mapping the content of it. Okay, so after passing the customer, okay, so I need to, based on the scenario, okay, so as for this, I need to send a notification alert to the customer, okay, so that he can get to know about his application status. Okay, so for that, let me go and write a simple process, sub process, to send a email notification. Okay, so create a sub process, and I'm selecting direct sub process here. Send mail. So I'm giving the name as send mail. So for sending the mail, I need the mail ID as well as the message, right? So go and define that particular thing. So create the schema. complex element as send mail request. So under that I am going to add mail ID and also the message that needs to be passed in mail. Okay, so message. Okay, so after that, so I don't need to send any response as part of this. Okay, so to send a mail, we have mail palette where we have a send mail activity. So go and place the send mail activity here. Okay, so just remove this transition from start to map the transition to send mail, from send mail to end activity. Okay, so while sending a mail, okay, for sending a mail, we need a SMTP connection. Okay, we need a SMTP shared connection. Okay, so first go and create that SMTP connection under resources here. So right click resources and new, go to SMTP resource. Okay, and name it SMTP resource. Okay, you can keep it as it is and finish it so that it adds an SMTP resource. Okay, and here we need to give the server details. Okay, 1 second. I have already done this. This is my server. Okay, I have a local mail server running. Okay, I'm giving that mail server details here. Okay, after that, go here, your send mail activity, and here go and select the SMTP resource which we have just created. After selecting that, whatever. Okay. So after selecting that, go and map the mail ID. So mail ID to true and from mail ID. Okay, so after that subject is application. Okay, so that is one subject I have given. It is very slow. So after that, you need to pass the message as body text. Okay, so with that, I am done with configuring the send mail activity. Okay, so now go to your loan processing here. Okay, so here go and invoke the subprocess. Name it send mail. Okay, and select the subprocess send mail. the mail ID should come from your parse customer, and the message, okay, based on the category I need to send a message, right? Okay, so right click on message, surround with choice, okay, when otherwise we have this condition. Okay, so we have 4 conditions here, 1 2 3 4 conditions. So go and select the 4 conditions, otherwise 3 conditions, 1 otherwise. Okay, now check if the category is equal to platinum. Okay, then try to write a message. Okay. Dear customer, your loan application has approved for the amount rupees 1 lakh. Okay, so this is what the message I have written for platinum. Okay, and similar lines for gold. It is going to be something like 75,000, 50,000, 50,000. Category is equal to silver. It is going to be 25,000. Otherwise, it is going to be bronze, and for bronze it is 10,000. Okay, that's what message I am trying to send out to the customer. Okay, is that clear so far?
Yes.
Okay, so after that, so we are sending an alert and move the loan request XML to an archive location. Okay, so for archive location, this is the location I am trying to use. So for moving the file, okay, we can use a rename file activity. So for that we can use a rename file activity to remove the file from one directory to another directory. Okay, from file, this is going to be your file polar. You can take it from file polar output. And to file is going to be concat and let me append something. Timestamp. Okay, so timestamp from I'm trying to move the file, okay, and I'm also renaming the file to append the timestamp in front of it. Okay, so even in the failure case also, okay, so I just need to do nothing. Okay, if the file is not found, okay, do nothing and just move the file to archive location. So just do the same thing.
Are we going to run both the scenarios?
Yeah,
Or
now we're going to run the both the scenarios. Okay, so a simple, this is how a simple application looks. Okay, so let's go and run this application. So it is clear, right, so far?
it's too complicated, but
Too complicated?
oh, yeah. Well, if
No.
you practice it, hopefully it should be easy.
Okay, so if you have any questions somewhere, okay, just ask me so that I can clear you.
No, no. So far it's clear, but it's lengthy process to get a loan. It
Hello. Hello, you guys able to hear me?
yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. So let's go and create a debugger for this.
Yesterday you gave a different example, right?
The same,
That
right?
was
Very same. The same example.
Was it? No, it was not this. Anyways,
No, actually, yesterday because of some issues, okay, I didn't able to show you properly.
okay.
We have discussed the same example actually. Yes, very same example.
Okay.
So let's go and create the debug configuration. One second, guys. Someone is knocking my door. 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah. So create a new debug configuration. Select this project. Apply. Debug.
So every time when you debug a process,
Mhm.
we can why are you creating a new application? We can use the existing application and deselect all and select the required ones, right?
Of course, we can do that. But
Okay.
I'm just maintaining a debugger for each and every application. That's it. A separate
Okay.
debugger for each and every.
Even when you upload the videos, Rahul,
Mhm.
can you make separate folders for each class and put all the files like schema, XML, and WSDL and upload the folder instead of uploading just the video? You can
Uh,
upload a zip file, right?
yeah, I'm uploading a zip file, right?
No, video is separate, then
Okay, you
the
want,
zip file is
yeah,
separate.
we want the project to be separate and videos to be separate, right? Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, just when name the folder with the class name, class 5, class 3, class 4, so that we can easily follow it.
Okay, okay, I'll do that. Okay, from today I'll do that. Okay, so for rest of previous classes, I'll keep it as it is. Okay, so from today I'll do that.
Okay, sure.
So let me create. Okay, this is done. Okay, so let's try to create some test data to test this. So, okay, so let me take Chandra. Okay, we don't have any email. Let me add an email. let's go on to you. Mobile number. Okay, so I'm passing this. This needs to be saved as this is the location, right? Okay, save. So I'm just saving the file into that particular location. Okay, it already has the file. 1 second. Now go and check your progress. Okay, it failed at parse XML. 1 second, what is the problem? Expected element sequence dot email. 1 second, guys, it is using some problem. 1 second. This is the problem. Okay, don't see any problem. Right is right. 1 second, guys, let me restart it.
So if we want to run this, do we need to set up the local mail server and other stuff, or just we can give the values and
Yeah,
we
actually,
should be able to?
you need to set up that local mail server actually. So I'll just give you a document, okay, how to create the local mail server so that you can proceed.
Okay.
Oh, expected element sequence. Mhm. It is giving me a problem. 1 second, let me check it directly generated from here. 1 second, guys. It is giving me a problem. Let's create a sample XML from here itself. By the way, this is mapper activity. This is how it looks here.
Okay.
Same actually. Invite it in the process. Okay. Started. Okay, perfect. Now we can go and check. It somehow has taken different route. 1 second. Okay. Sorry guys, actually here we have an extra star symbol that is causing problem. Yeah, perfectly executed. Okay guys, so here I am receiving that particular XML, right? loan request.
So what was the thing that we did wrong here?
Previously, right?
So initially,
Yeah,
yeah.
here while comparing the file name, okay, here I have given an extra star symbol that is not in the file. Okay, because of that it is not able to find the file.
Oh, okay.
So here I am receiving the loan request XML, and after that I am parsing it, and here so that I can have that XML structure, tree structure. Okay, so after that I am getting the list of files available in under the directory. So I have total 31 files. You can see here the count. Okay, this is each and every file. Okay, under that the second file is going to be my file, the one which is going to associate with the request Chandra underscore some mobile number dot xml. Okay, so I'm able to find that file. So because of that, this condition was not satisfied and this condition was satisfied. It is reading the file and giving me the output in the form of a text, and I'm parsing it to generate the XML structure. Okay, so here the category is gold, right? So for the gold customer, it is going to be something like where is it? 50,000 eligibility. So I'm doing that the same thing. Okay, while invoking this thing. Okay, send mail activity, send mail call process. I'm passing the same message. Hey, dear customer, your loan application has been approved for the amount 50,000, and this is my mail ID, and it is going to invoke my process definition, sub-process call, and it has invoked the sub-process send mail activity and ended. After that, I'm archiving the file. Okay, I'm removing the file and I'm moving it to a different location. Okay, here I have an archive folder. I have moved that file to archive location. Okay, so if you can see here,
You can see as
yeah,
per the time you can, yeah.
This is the one. Okay, this is the one I have just moved. Okay, so now go and check my mail. So I have the mail regarding your loan application. Okay, so dear customer, your loan application has been approved for the amount. So okay, so this is how we do it. Okay, so later, so we'll try a negative scenario. Okay, where we don't find a customer. Okay, so let's give something like Chandra 1 and try. Create the file. And another job has been created for this loan processing process definition. This time it has not processed the thing actually, okay, because I didn't able to find that file. Okay, so it took this flow and written an entry in the log. You can see here customer not found, and simply archiving the file. So the file was removed from here and it was placed at archive location. Okay, so you can see this is the file, right? Chandra 1. It has archived the file, simply not processing anything. Okay, so this is the how we normally deal with XML and file related activities and the sub-process calls and the transitions. Okay, so this particular example contains most of the concepts like file activities, XML activities, and the transitions and the sub-process calls. Okay, so try to practice these things. Okay, so you can understand the things. Okay, guys.
Yeah, if you can share the thing where we can set up the mail server.
Yeah, I'll share
And
that. I'll share that document. Okay, so I'll
share
share
that,
that.
and I'll share
I'll share
all
that
the schemas.
document. I'll share this project. Right, this project contains all the schemas.
Okay, okay.
So I'll
Got it.
share the project. I'll share that mail setup document, and I'll share the test data as well, which I have. Okay, and I'll
Okay.
share this particular requirement file. Okay, how exactly what exactly the requirement is. Okay, So we have so far implemented this part, okay? We haven't implemented this new customer yet, okay? So we are going to implement this in our next class,
Okay.
Okay.
okay? So I'll share all these things, okay? So give me some half an hour time, I'll share these things,
Okay.
okay? So
Yeah.
Ram and Arshad, you can drop off, okay? So Arshad or Afsar, you can stay back.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, all.
Yeah, thanks. Sure. Yes, Afsar.
Yeah, nothing.